Joining us now here on In the Circle on D1 Softball, powered by 643. She has been a regular guest over the years here through all her various stops. Of course, she just led Arizona State back to the NCAA tournament last year, coming off a 35-win season. She was also a Big East Player of the Year, multi-time All-American at Notre Dame, and was voted on to the D1 Softball Top 25 Best Mid-Major Hitters of this century. That I speak of Megan Bartlett, who joins us here on In the Circle at D1 Softball. Those are some nice accolades you got.
Appreciate you. Thank you for the kind introduction, as always.
Before we get into your team there, I want to ask you about that. You were voted in as one of the best, and for people, the young audience, like, what are you talking about? She's Notre Dame. That should, I mean, when you played, that was kind of considered a mid-major, high major, even though the Big East was a strong league at that time. There. How many people still ask you about your playing days, whether it be recruits, parents, etc.? Do they not bring it up? No? No?
Oh, no.
Like you were an awesome player.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, softball was a little bit different back then, right? You could easily make the World Series as a mid-major. You think about the Tulsa, ULL, DePaul, runs into the World Series and things like that. But yeah, no, nobody asks anymore.
I've been telling other coaches this. I've been telling we gotta do like a history lesson. Like I'm a history geek, but I was like, not I don't want to give too much of the curtain away. But during that D1 list, but I had a vote there, and I was, let's just say, pretty emphatic. They're like, well, she has to be on this list. It's just a matter of how do we classify her in a category, and then people were like, oh, that's right, Notre Dame wasn't in the power conference that time.
Well, and it was an honor. If you look at the rest of that list, there were some absolutely tremendous hitters.
Yes,
They were
100%.
on it.
Not an
So
easy list to do. I don't recommend you being part of any of those. That was,
cool.
yes. But I only bring that up because I remember talking to Tanya Windle, who's talked about you and how you coach outfield. Because, you were a great outfielder, great offensive player. It speaks for itself, the resume. How much of the player side of you comes out when you're teaching your players, whether it's defensive things in the outfield or hitting or whatever?
Certainly the spicy competitive side. I don't, yeah, we have fun. We do have fun. And certainly I'm happy that Tanya feels like she's learned a lot over the years, but I think I would say to the kids all the time, when I'm tough on you, it's because I know you're capable of catching that ball. I know you can do it. Go get it. Um, and so it may come off a little bit more colorful than that sometimes, but they know the expectations are really high. But the thing they always have to remember is that they are very, very capable. Um, but we have a good time. We have a good time. I love teaching outfield. Just by nature of now being a head coach at the Power 4 level, I feel like I function as a GM, kind of doing front office stuff and staffing and recruiting and business office and fundraising and all the things that are required of this job at this level now. And I don't get to do as much softball. So when I actually get to be out on the field with them, it's kind of brings you back to the why, why you started coaching, why you started doing this. It certainly wasn't to chase NIL dollars and, deal with transfer portals, but here we are. So this is our life now. So you better get good at it quick.
It's true. Kelsey Hall, who told me a year ago that there's the Coach Bartlett side, there is the player Bartlett side, there's the attorney Bartlett side, and there's the mom Bartlett side. Is that accurate? Did she nail it? Did she nail the differences there?
Actually, that's kind of brilliant. Well done, Kels. Yeah. A lot of sides. And the girls certainly get familiar, I think, with all of them. I got some really wonderful coaching advice. My very first head coaching job. And he had told me the most important thing you're going to do is just be you and be authentic. And like, you've worked under some really wonderful coaches, but don't try to interact with the kids and decision make. Like, what would Yvette do? What would Eugene do? What would Deanna do? He's like, no, no, no. Like, you quite literally were chosen for a reason. You're amazing at this. Just be you. And that's how you need to, connect with your players. That's how you need to decision make. And it was some of the best advice I think I've gotten in 21 years or whatever we're at now.
Oh, that's incredible. Last year, you got the program back to the regionals, won 35 games, most wins they've had since 2022. I mean, it's well documented. You took over the program, you had to build it back up from scratch there. Young team last year. When you reflect on last year, I know it didn't end the way you'd have liked. It was a tough regional you got sent to in LA. A lot of drama, dramatic games. It was more exciting regionals. But when you reflect on last year, what comes to your mind?
Really grateful to the turnaround team, I guess, as we all ended up calling it, right? Those that group was just so young, right? Of course, we had a veteran on the mound, which certainly helped, but you even think Mika filling the, kind of number two role on the staff at that point, just a sophomore, had just come to us with a fastball. So she is truly learning how to spin pitches, how to pitch, how to get batters out. And then, of course, I think at one point we had like 5 or 6 freshmen on the field. I mean, we were so young. But they worked with such wonderful intensity and intentfulness, start to finish, just to the amount of preparation it takes to be a really elite hitter at this level. And then we had, Tiare Ho-Ching and Ashley Mejia, 2 young ones that were a really um, big part of the leadership core. And they were 18 and they were just figuring out themselves, right? So while we certainly, the investment in the future of the program was, I think is going to pay dividends and is astounding to just have to work at that pace and that speed. And when everything's new to you, week to week to week, those kids they worked so hard and they fought through some tough moments and injuries and tough situations. We were not in a situation where we were just bigger, faster, stronger, and mature and knew how to handle the workload and knew what it was going to take for our bodies to still feel strong and explosive and fresh at the end. And they worked so hard to get that 2 seed, right? And get an awesome seeding in a regional we felt like we were capable of competing in. We just physically, I think, ran out of some gas at the end. And I will tell you, those same kids trained so hard all summer. Tiare Ho Ching's put on almost 15 pounds, I think, from when we got her, which is really cool, right? Ash has wonderful physicality. She has swung the bat so well since we've had her back. She's trained really hard. So the kids that were the young ones that were a big part of that, and of course, Mackenzie, Miko were here all summer training. And um, so it's just been a really cool process to watch. But with all the veterans, we pulled in the transfer portal this summer. Well, we were really, really young a year ago. We feel really, really old this year. And obviously they know the grind and they know the amount of how locked in you're going to have to be and what the demands are week to week to compete at a really high level. We don't have to teach them any of that. They came from very good programs. Um, and they're just grown women, they're mature, they're physical, their bodies are going to be able to withstand the load a little bit better. So I'm excited for the year. I'm excited about this team. I feel like we finally have a complete team. I have decisions to make now. We're not so thin that it's kind of like, okay, these kids are going to roll out day to day and do it, that there's a lot of competition on the field, competition in the clubhouse, defensively, offensively, at almost every position right now. So it's certainly good problems to have for me and my staff.
Definitely a good problem to have there. And you mentioned, let's start with the pitching staff. A lot of newness there, but you also have, of course, Kenzie Brown, All-American, back, who, leading the way. You mentioned Mikey. You got new faces there as well. Just talk about this pitching staff. How do you have that depth that you're looking for there? Because I know you don't want Kenzie to have to carry too much of the load.
Right. Yeah, no, this pitching staff is going to be tough to prepare for, I think. You've got 2 lefties, you've got 2 righties with the addition of Aisa Silva and Mary Peyton Hodge, who's our freshman left-hander, all the way from North Carolina. She was a Birmingham Thunderbolt. So, yeah, this staff is really well-rounded. I mean, Aisa led the pack in wins as a sophomore, right? She is a veteran at this level. My goodness, she can bend the ball 4 different ways. She can move it off speed, of course, from the left side, and she is a bulldog. She competes. Then, of course, you've got Mika, who's right, Kenzie's obviously going to work mostly up with that beautiful rise ball. Mika's got great velocity. She's going to work mostly down from the right side. So you think just in the righties alone, you have two totally different things to prepare for. And then you add the two lefties in, who have different profiles, different tempos. Mary Payton's really tall. She's really long. Aisa's going to fly off the mound at you, um, force you to square the ball up, spin it really well. So I'm excited. Certainly with the addition of John Barkfeld as the pitching coach, which he's one of the premier pitching coaches in the country and one of the assistants on Team USA right now. So certainly John's resume speaks for itself. But just in the last day or two to get them to really start to settle in and work with one another, it's just been pretty incredible to watch. He's just so intelligent. I think he does a really nice job of what could be a really complex system and complex movement these guys are doing. He keeps things really, really simple and digestible, and he's really clear about his expectations and the system and how we're going to operate and how we're going to get batters out. So we are certainly, Josh, Haley, and I are thrilled to welcome him into the mix and just really excited to see what he's going to do with all four of them.
Exciting to have him back in softball as well, by the way.
Sure.
Good job by you
Yes.
on that. That's going to be exciting there. I'm talking about Kenzie there because it's well documented her history. She had some injuries last year, kind of broke through there. I know you had to manage her a little bit there. How is she feeling here? Another year, her last year there. Is there still some managing you got to do with her? Because I know she wants the ball. It's up to her. She wants the ball every time, but I know there's a managing process. So how do you handle that with her?
Man, I got a really big smile last night. I walked out to the bullpen because we had a night practice just to get the kids used to seeing the ball under the lights a little bit before opening day. I'm like, Ken's, how you feeling? And she's like, I'm good. It was like this light bulb went off. It's like the first time in her career the kid just feels healthy. And I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for us. I'm thrilled for her. Because college softball hasn't even seen a healthy Mackenzie yet, if you can believe that. So she's feeling great and she looks great. So I think we're just all really anxious for opening day and ready to play and ready to get going.
And I would imagine she has to be more confident at this time versus last year at this time, where there was probably some doubts in her head a year ago versus now. Is that accurate?
I don't know if it was doubts. I don't know that she quite knew what her ceiling was. She knew she was really talented and very good and capable of helping us win ball games. But again, like accolades are wonderful, but it's one of those like if you're so worried about something that far off in the distance, then if the way you're preparing and how process oriented you are suffers, then you're not going to get to that end goal again. Right. So, and she's such a humble, lovely kid. We just try and not talk about that. Like any given day, any given pitch, how am I spinning the rise most efficiently, spinning the drop most efficiently? How's the tempo on the changeup look? And we just try and keep her, again, worrying about the next pitch, the next batter, and try to just keep the moments of victory just really small and really digestible so she's not getting too caught up and overwhelmed in any of it.
Offensively, you're going to get asked about this between now and opening day from the media and everything, and that's how do you replace a Kelsey Hall, who was a big part of their offense, middle of that lineup, and you don't. Not to mention, the intangibles that she brought as a leader on that. First of all, how is she doing? That's number one. And
She lives here.
okay,
She's up the road. I think North Scottsdale, and Kels got engaged and she's excited and she's crushing it. She actually had texted last week to kind of restart the broadcasting conversation. So you think she might want to be color commentary. So I need to
yes,
get with people on our side and figure out how we make that happen.
yes, get her in the booth.
I know she's brilliant. She's so well spoken and high game IQ, and she's just such a fun, human being to be around.
Agreed, 100%. She'll be a natural at it. So if whatever I got to do to help, I'll do it. Just let me know. I'll help her out. She's a great kid.
Right.
So you don't replace people like that. That being said, that does present opportunities for others. So talk about some of the opportunities. I know you're excited about some of the freshmen you have brought in, as well as some of the transfers you have in that will help hopefully have more depth on the offensive side.
Yeah, certainly so excited to get Katie Chester back in the lineup and healthy. We had actually gotten her a year ago. She was a redshirt last season. But yeah, she's had an absolutely tremendous fall. Ashley Mejia, I'm expecting her to even level up. She, of course, always hit for wonderful power. But Ash has done a much better job of controlling the zone, right? And not kind of giving away bats, just chasing a little bit too much. And we knew that was going to be the linchpin of Ashley going from good to great. And she's really kind of embraced that. Emily Shep, we're really excited about. Shep not only hits for tremendous power, but what I keep saying about her, like Bloom and I are watching her hit, and I'm like, her barrel control is so good, which you don't typically find with power hitters. She's hard to beat because she can make pitch to pitch adjustments. She understands how to hunt. She understands, kind of how to problem solve with the bat a little bit. Then you have Ryan Brown, who I don't know that I've I've ever coached a more physical athlete at anywhere I've been. Um, I was talking to Mike White and Karen Weekly, when she was in the portal and things like that, and they had both said the exact same thing, like never seen anything like her power. So certainly excited to have Ryan. Sam Swan, she's got a little pop in the bat. She's done a nice job for us. She'll be back. I'm like trying to look down my list right now. It's such an interesting thing because
You added Kaylee Pond from Cal
my God,
too.
yes, KP. I I immediately when I think of KP, I love her in center. Like I'm so happy she's here. She's the leader, she's the field general. Wonderful decision maker, understands space and time, tempo, pace, speed of the game. KP does such a great job for us there. But yeah, tremendously powerful from the left side at the plate. And I think probably hits in the top of the lineup for us. Yeah, so it's kind of a new world for us. Like we've got some tough decisions to make when the lineup comes. Then of
Yeah,
course you've got the bunnies as we call them, right? The Unique Cunha, Tanya Wendell, Tiare Ho-Ching, right? Like you've got your speedy fast ones in the mix still too. But yeah, I think we're going to be much more powerful than we were a year ago. You don't really get any breaks in this lineup, which is really, really cool, right? That 7 of the 9 can probably leave the yard at any time, and all 9 of them could beat you with different skill sets. So that's kind of nice. Like you just don't get a break. Like there's no point in our lineup where you're like, oh, thank God we're off the hook. Like, nope. Like all 9 are going to, be able to compete, are going to be able to drive the very least drive the ball in the gap, and then we're going to go right back to the top of the lineup. And so I'm excited. Josh Bloomer has just done an absolutely tremendous job with this offense.
underrated hitting coach in the sport. And you mentioned some of the other new faces. The Yazzie Avila from Illinois. I've seen her. She's got a lot of upside there. You added
Yeah.
Ulrich, infielder from Marshall,
Yep.
Millie from the Auburn there. Just when as you as a staff, when you evaluate players like in the portal, how they fit, what goes into your evaluation on how they fit in what our culture and our program and this roster?
Yeah. First and foremost, um, you know, we're going to go after athletes. Of course, we had a couple defensive positions we know we needed help at. Like we needed a field general in center field, things like that. A little depth, a little more depth at the middle infield. We have great kids. I will tell you, the culture is certainly in a tremendous place. We talk all the time about having women with duality. So when you get out on the field, you're a dog. Like you are going to compete, you're going to scrap, do whatever it takes to win ball games, but you walk in that clubhouse and it's sisterhood and you've got a kind word for people and you can operate with some grace and some patience when you need it, or you're willing to have a hard conversation with your sister when she needs to hear it, right? But that emotional intelligence is really important to us. And all those kids have certainly come wired like that. They're really good kids from good families. I don't think have a black sheep in the bunch per se, which is certainly, I think, going to be a value to us when we're trying to win high level ball games.
freshman class was ranked by D1 softball as a top 30 class. I think you've had multiple now top 30, 25, 30 classes depending on, where you do the rankings. They're talented. Especially, I mean, I was blown away with your freshman class, the freshmen last year are now sophomores. How would you describe this freshman class and tell us a little bit about them? I know you've talked about one already, but how they will contribute this year.
Yeah, Jasmine Roberts, I think will see some substantial time at shortstop. She played on the Warriors for Ray McDonald, and that kid is just a little bit of a gamer. Like, even if she kind of catches the ball funny, if it gets off time a little bit, she's just going to find a way to get out of her glove and get it across the diamond and throw you out. It's just not a lot of panic in the moment with that one. She competes. She has certainly got the interesting advantage as an 18-year-old. She's physical. Like for an 18-year-old kid, she's strong. She's kind of built like a grown woman. Swings the bat hard. She's done actually a really nice job for us. You know, she's a freshman. She will probably hit toward the bottom of our lineup, but that's not to let anybody off the hook because she's gonna be able to hit at this level, which has been fun. Mary Peyton Hodge, our lefty from North Carolina. Beautiful upspin. She can move it all over the place. She can change speeds on you. She's long. She's going to get off the mound, but excited to just kind of see how MP spends the year developing under a little more veteran staff. But she's going to get a lot of time, and we're excited about that. Avery Matroni, that kid can hit. I will tell you, like, she's young and is going to have to continue to develop a little bit defensively, like kind of win and find a spot. She can do a lot of different things, which is helpful, right? She can catch, she can play corner. And I think she's going to get opportunity to do those things. But at the end of the day, like Avery can swing it. She can hit, no doubt about it. And then little Miss Brooke Pivar, one of Mike's disc catchers. Brooke, you are not going to find a better catcher. I mean, she is an excellent receiver. She's a very quiet receiver. I will tell you, I say all the time about Brooke, she's our little queen. She will stand on 10 toes. Like she'll go tell Mackenzie her business on the mound if she needs to. And I was like, oh, that was bold. Okay, yep, we're gonna do this. But yeah, she's a really cool kid, continues to get better and better at the plate. Posed for an arm. I think every single runner that ran on her this fall is, by the time we're like, oh, they just put the freshman catcher in, let's test her, posed them all. I was like, that a girl. So it's kind of fun. That freshman class it's a small one, just four of them. But I think they help us win, and they're great kids. We're certainly happy they chose to be Sun Devils. Oh, can't hear you.
I would imagine there would be momentum from last year's NCAA tournament appearance from a recruiting standpoint, right? Like that continuing that momentum. Have you seen that since making the tournament this off season?
Well, certainly, I think that's why all those, 7, 8 veterans chose to come in and be Sun Devils, truly. Mackenzie was obviously a really big piece of that. When early in the summer, she had just put out that post like, Tempe's home, I'm coming back. Here we go, Sun Devil Nation. That certainly didn't hurt our chances of getting superstars out of the portal. But yeah, we're excited. The freshmen coming in the 26 class are very, very good. I think right now the 27 class, I believe, is ranked at the top of the Big 12. And, they're tremendously talented too. And that's a little bit bigger class. That's 8 kids. We're going to keep going. I think this staff has Josh and Haley and then of course, John, like just do such a tremendous job that we're not scared to develop, right? We're getting kids with plus tools that are ready to grind and compete and work. We're going to keep bringing the talented young ones in and then love them up and coach them up and hopefully hang on to them. Right. So, but yeah, I like this group. I think again, like we're finally in a place where we have depth. We have kids that chose to be here, chose to be Sun Devils, believe we're capable of making a run into the World Series, winning a super and doing all those things. And that's why they chose to be here. And I think that's a totally different feel than I hope we're going to be better, right? Or like,
Sure, sure.
certainly progress is always the goal. I think if you talk to any coaches at this level, like what I'm not really sure where Patty Gasso goes, from there, like progress when
Right,
you're
right, right.
that point. But, for the rest of us, sorry, the light shut off.
The lights went out. But no, it's part of the building blocks. And
Honestly, sorry, yes. Conserve all the energy here, I guess, Arizona State. So,
there you go. Tanya
mhm.
Windle. I would imagine she's one of your leaders there. Talk about her and what you've seen from her this year, as well as maybe some of the other ones that you think will be in that leadership role, whether it be by example, whether it be vocal, kind of what Kelsey Hall, as we talked earlier, brought to your team.
Yeah, Tons does a really nice job. Like she's, especially since she's been back this spring, just so locked in. What I love about Tanya, like she's a positive kid, she's a loyal kid. Her family's wonderful. She's from Arizona. Like this was always the dream with Tanya, right? So he is so proud to be a Sun Devil. Helps with recruiting, does a nice job with that. We're bringing in portal kids, and of course, we're at dinner, and she's talking up Arizona and Arizona State and all the things. So, but you don't get better bat to ball skills with Tanya Wendell. Like she's just going to find a way to get hits and win ball games. So, yeah, she's a great kid. And then, of course, from a leadership standpoint, we'd be remiss to not mention Mackenzie. You know, the nice part about Ken's is, and this will probably shock nobody, but just absolutely one of the hardest workers on the team. Probably her and Mika Loopy, kind of running hand in hand there. And, they're here on breaks and they're crushing it in the weight room. And of course, on the field, they're doing great in the classroom. And they're certainly the kids of how you do anything is how you do everything. But yeah, Mackenzie's, certainly the queen. We're going to go as she goes, and she knows that. And she goes hard all the time. Sam Swan is another great leader for us. Sammy is just such a wonderful kid. She is so mature. She is so grounded, works exceptionally hard, takes care of business, really just connects so well with so many of her teammates. She does a great job. Tiare Ho Ching, that's another leader for us. Same thing, just such a great kid from a great family. And the leadership piece, I would expect more and more as she continues to grow, right? And kind of just grow into her voice a little bit more. She's probably a nice example of leading by example. Here all summer, she was training, eating as much protein as we could get in her little body, and she's put on a bunch. Amazing. And then really, Aisa Silva, I think, was immediately just kind of jumped in and kind of immersed herself in the clubhouse. And certainly with her being an Arizona kid, right?
Right.
She's from Arizona. Once we had signed her, she was able to just, move here and start training and kind of immerse herself in the clubhouse. So she had a little bit of a running head start, more so than the other transfers. But Issa just does such a tremendous job of like, again, like she's a bulldog. She competes and she's willing to push people and kind of share that mindset with people. And Issa has such a natural kind of social easiness about her. She does. She connects with so many people in the clubhouse so well. It's easy sometimes as a pitcher, right? Because you're in the bullpen so much and you're kind
Right.
of off on your own to not be so immersed, I think, in the fabric of the team. And that's part of Issa's skill set, and it's part of what makes her special. And she does a nice job with that. And she's just a mature kid. She's willing to have a tough conversation, you know, if if that's something she needs to do or, we ask her to do. And so she's been a ton of fun to have around, honestly. Very high expectations for herself, very high expectations for the ball club. And she articulates herself really well.
You mentioned Ho Ching. Big part of your defense. I was impressed with her and how she handles second base. Talk about your defense. We kind of highlighted a little bit about the outfield, but just overall, where you feel about the defense and some of the players that'll contribute. Because I know that's something that's obviously right up your alley of the defensive side of the ball. There. Well, how do you feel about it going in right now?
Feel good about it. Tiare is obviously in the infield. She's our little general, right? She's just by nature of softball when you're having to defend the steal and defend the bunt and how much short game is just naturally immersed in our game and how fast it happens. Your second baseman not only have to be physically gifted and fast, but they have to have great instincts, right? And be able to communicate well. And certainly Are does all those things. She's pretty much a dream to put on the infield because she can physically handle all the demands, and she can kind of be the brain for a lot of people around her, which is awesome. Um, Katie Chester, I think, sees a lot of time at first base, and Kate's a plus defender actually at first base, which again, like, just so happy to get her back, and get her in the mix. Um, Emily Sheppel plays some first. Sam Swan can play some first. So it's an interesting, as the hitters start to, the lineup starts to solidify a little bit more. Like, it's great that we have so many options. I think are really going to be able to hit at a high level. But now it's kind of like the cream's got to rise to the top, and we've got to give people some time. But how we're managing Katie, in addition to both catchers who can hit at a very high level and will be in the lineup. It's just that DP first base catching combo, just depending, right, who's actually catching that game and how people are going to go. But defensively, they all handle their business really, really well at first base. And then shortstop, you've got a little freshman fireballer, Jasmarie Roberts, man. Her and Brooklyn Ulrich, they're going to continue to duke it out at shortstop. And Brooklyn certainly has the advantage of she's a veteran and, probably understands the speed of the game a little bit better. And that's not going to eat her up at all. But man, Jasmarie is not giving that position up. So I'm like, well, we're just going to they're going to battle, and we're going to let them see how it goes. But the fact that we have two of them that can do it at a really high level, Nahonda Lewis can certainly play some shortstop. Actually, Yazzie Avila can play some shortstop. So we have depth. We finally have some options, which is pretty cool. And then third base right now, man, they are like four of them that are just duking it out, right? Because Brooklyn and Nini can both play third too. And then you've got, of course, TK Davis, who did a great job for us there a year ago. And now you've got the addition of Millie Roberts from Auburn. So it's Sydney Signs. He's swung the bat tremendously well all fall, and Sid can play some third. So Avery Matroni plays third. And she's young, but Aves can certainly hit. And that's gonna show up, I think, in big moments this year. So we've got a lot of people that can do this at a high level now, which is, I feel like, if you can't feel the breath coming out of my body, like I'm finally taking, I finally the deep breath, and I'm like, okay, now it's just time for people to compete and get it done. Like, who's going to get it done, when the lights turn on and game day shows up. But I think just a lot of very good ball players, but a lot of skill set wise, evenly matched ball players. So they're just, at some point early on, I'm writing the lineup. As the season goes on and people are making good on opportunities, they're writing the lineup, right? Because
Sure.
whoever's just going to get it done on game day is going to go. But we finally have a lot of options, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. It's a lot of options. But now I'll understand now. If I text your SID Chris Brown and say, "Hey, where's the lineup?" and he doesn't respond, now I know it, because you do. It could take you a minute to figure it out sometimes, right?
I do. And honestly, Ryan Brown plays all those places too. And we taught Ryan to play outfield. So like, there's another very powerful, very physical right-handed bat, especially if we're facing a lefty that's given us trouble, because we just have a lot of lefties in the lineup. Then Ryan goes. So it's good problems to have, but we've got weapons. We
How
finally
deep?
have.
How deep's your outfield?
Okay, so you've got Kaylee, Tanya,
Yep.
Mixa, Ashley, Ryan, Yazzie.
Wow.
Yeah, as I said, let's go, ladies. Time to compete. But yeah, we do. We finally have depth. And not only did they come to us as very good ball players, but again, to watch just the way Bloom systematically operates with each of them and how much better they've all gotten. And some of that is Josh, and some of that is just that they have to compete every day. Like, he
Sure.
tracks everything, every live rep they take. Not only can they go back and watch it? He'll go back and watch it, and then everything's tracked into a quality at bat chart, right? So there's not really any way to escape
That's
when it's
incredible.
yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool group of kids. So when I say like you just really do not get a break in our lineup, you really just don't get a break in the lineup.
This might come off as a dumb question because at the end of the day, it's a good problem to have. So I'll emphasize that. But as a coach, is there a bit of an adjustment for you? Because I mean, I think if you're honest, you haven't had this depth, certainly since you've been there. Is there an adjustment or like a reminder, like, oh, wait, we got this depth? Whereas, the last couple of years, you kind of like had to coach a certain way because you didn't have the depth. But now you do. So do you have to adapt in a way? I know it sounds like a weird question, but that is unique. To go from not having a lot of that, now you got depth, but now that's a good problem, but a different problem.
It is. So that was another part of the thought process. So way back in August, I actually asked Bloomer to coach third. So I could go back to the dugout, do it a little bit more like baseball, really, just so I could intake information and I could do a little more watching. It's so much different when you're the offensive coordinator, right? That it's like the minute we get through a side on defense and I'm hustling out to third base, and now I'm trying to think of my chess match of like, okay, if this happens, I've got this kid on deck, I've got this kid in the hole. And you just get so kind of locked in on what's happening pitch to pitch in that moment. It's a little bit more difficult to be thoughtful about, when we're going to make a pitching change. Do I want to have a defensive replacement? Um, kind of to your point now that we have a lot of pinch hitters if they're not on the field. Who do we want to use where, and who's a good matchup for whatever pitcher we're facing? It's just going to allow me, I think, to honestly make better decisions and just kind of sit back and troubleshoot with the kids and spend a little more time with them, which I love, and it's probably naturally lies in my skill set a little bit more. So yeah, I'm actually excited about it. Bloom is certainly capable of running a high level offense at this level, and he's the hitting coach, so he really spends way more time with them, in the weeds and in the cage and things like that. When he wants a bunt and run, when he wants a hit and run, when he wants to steal, things like that. He's so far into the weeds. He'll do a great job there, but yeah, it's going to be a big adjustment. I haven't come off third base since I've been a head coach, but I certainly trust him, and I think it just makes our ball club better now with having this much depth and this many options. How do we use them all thoughtfully?
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you told me this. Otherwise, I would have been really concerned about you if I tuned in and like, why is Bloomer at third? What? Like, so, but has that been, how has that been for you though? You mentioned you haven't not coached third as a head coach. I'm trying to remember, even at Texas, you still coached first, didn't you? So what's the adjustment been like for you from that standpoint?
It's a little sad. It's a little weird. I love coaching third. That's what I did. I was a left-handed triple threat. I love the chess match, and I learned under some really incredible coaches, right?
Yeah.
Yvette and Eugene Lenti and Lindsay Chenard, and people who could just manufacture runs and run fast offenses. And but again, like I completely trust him. He's one of the best in the business, and Bloom knows what he's doing. So I know it helps that I know it's the right thing for the ball club. I think for me, again, me to get to spend more time, whether it's we're troubleshooting through something on the field, or I'm just helping keep a kid calm or get her back on task or on plan, or if we've got to flip plans, it just, again, like there's just, I think, a high level of trust with me and the girls. And it allows me to really honestly spend, again, some more time with them in game, and just be more thoughtful kind of from a bird's eye view about when we're making decisions and why we're making decisions, and kind of allows me to check in with all of my coaches, honestly, a little bit more during the game. And what are we thinking here and why? And just things you're not able to do when you're so isolated out of third base. So, but yeah, I'm a little bit sad, but also more excited than I am sad. I think it's going to be great for the ball club.
I mean, it's going to take me a minute to adjust a little bit when I watch your game, so I'm going to have to make a note of that. I want to speak about, there's a really good synergy going on with Arizona State as far as the women's athletics. Volleyball, which are fresh off an incredible year again, winning the Big 12 championship. I texted you. I saw them up close in person when I texted you about it. Women's basketball, as we record this, is having an incredible season under Coach Miller in her first year there. Do you sense that? Do your players sense that synergy there? Is that something you all feed off each other from a student athlete standpoint?
Absolutely. Um, I do. I think it creates this sense of, I don't know if expectation's the right word, but you know, we win. Women's sports here win. We are resourced well, we're supported well. We're all really proud Sun Devils. And certainly, oh my gosh, yeah, that's a rising tide raises all ships kind of situation. So I love JJ. He is this just really humble, down to earth, brilliant guy. Really high level of intellect. Like he worked in finance before he came back into the world of volleyball to coach, and um, just tremendous amount of respect for him. And then, of course, Molly's a good friend and she's crushing it. Just has this exceptional work ethic. I mean, Molly Miller has been all over this town since the day she got here, just grinding and recruiting and working with donors. And even more so, that's part of her world than even ours at this point. That um, Molly's just, I think, done such a good job of capturing our fan base, our donor base, getting people excited about women's basketball here again. And then, of course, her team delivered and her players love her. So it's, I just, I, I don't know that I could be happier for the both of them. It's just, it's a cool place to be. Arizona State is a special place. I mean, it's a beautiful place to live, gorgeous weather, great degree. And I know everybody kind of in our bubble at SDA, Sun Devil Athletics is just really, really proud to be Sun Devils. So it's just awesome. I love that it's manifesting that way. And I hope we're telling a similar story with us.
Yeah, no doubt. A couple more things. Committee this year will be seating 32 teams versus 16. I only bring that up with you because I feel like if this was in place last year, I'm not sure you're going to LA. I kind of felt you got squished into LA just because of geography, 400-mile radius. I think I remember even telling you that at the Big 12 championship, like you're probably going to be in LA, and then I remember you texted me, all right, I guess you were right. That may not be the case. Do you have a reaction to the going to 32 seeds?
No, I like it. I'm more curious to see how the buckets work,
Sure.
right? We're going to try and, I don't know, not so much take geography into consideration but again, I don't know. I'm highly respectful of the group of people who are sitting in that room and having to try and seed a whole tournament, and be as prepared as they can and make the most thoughtful decisions they can. But yeah, certainly it's led to some interesting decisions over the years. So I love the straight seating. I think it's really cool. I'm just curious to see how it manifests, I guess. But yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches kind of with the wait and see approach. Uh, they want to see how this applies, how much drastic differences will it be. It's worked out in volleyball, for sure. We'll see if it works out from that standpoint. Softball, I believe, in the NFCA convention, which was at where was it this year? It was in, or was it? Oh,
It was,
Vegas.
it was
Oh,
Vegas.
how could I forget Vegas? Not a bad place to hang out. You posted a photo, I believe, with you, Coach White, and Coach Singleton, a reunion, which I got a kick out of. I bring it up because Singleton now is a head coach. He is at Cal. He's kind of in a similar boat to where you were when you came to Arizona State, where he's got to kind of rebuild that back up over there at Cal. What's your reaction to him now being a head coach as someone who worked with him, and did you offer him any advice?
No, just it's going to take time and he's got to be patient, right? Singh has certainly got a super high game IQ and he's charismatic and he's one of the best recruiters in the country. He's going to be more than fine. I'm happy for him. I'm excited for him in Chelsea. Um, but it's just going to take a little bit of time. And I don't know that he's had to live through that yet, right? Because, Texas was kind of off and running a little bit. I think his first season there was it COVID when they went on that crazy run right away.
Something, yeah, yeah.
So it's different. Like, you know, building is tough. It is, and it's humbling at points. And he's going to be more than fine. But I'm excited for him.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. The all now head, all head coaches after working together at one point. That's going to be unique there. He's got
That's
some.
why coaching tree is very real. That's a real thing.
I was going to say, are we going to get a future Singleton versus Bartlett? We're going to get a scheduling game here down the road, or no? Are we avoiding this?
No, I'm sure we will. I'm looking forward to it. Like, let's go.
He might
Uh,
not. He might not right away. Well, he might want to wait a minute, but we'll see.
yeah, he'll be fine. He'll. I'm not worried about saying he will persevere. Just out of pure stubbornness, if nothing else. But no, he'll be fine. But that will be fun. I'd love to have him down and get to see him and Chelsea have a little reunion. And but yeah, Whitey is such an exceptional softball mind, and he's just a great man. I had a wonderful experience at Texas working under him, and we certainly won, and those things were fun and helped. But I could have stayed at Texas 5, 10 years and been totally happy. He's just a good man. My kids love him. Coach White, Coach White. They see
Yeah,
him and they still want to watch some Texas games just to see Coach, and um, it's all good things. So yeah, anytime that's the thing about coaching. You have all these people that were so formative in your life and all these wonderful friends, and we're all spread all over the country and never get to see each other outside of, game day convention and recruiting once in a while. So yeah, it's always
that's good.
fun.
That was a lot of fun. All right. I know you're not going to like this question. I'm going to put you on the hot seat here.
Boy,
Disney World versus Disneyland. Give me the breakdown.
100% Disney World. 100%. Yeah.
Why?
More to do, more to see, more parks.
Really?
Like we're Animal Kingdom fans. I pretty much go for the snacks. Anybody who knows me well knows I love to eat, like one of my favorite hobbies. So yeah, I'm the person that's just like eating every 27 minutes for the whole week we're there. Yeah.
What's the ratio of how many times you've been to Disney World versus how many times you've been to Disneyland? 3 to
Oh,
1? What's the ratio?
oh no. Probably more.
8 to 1?
Like 5 to 1, probably. We've only been
Wow.
a couple times since we've lived out here, and we'll go for a couple days and my kids are like, is this it? It's fun and they have different things about them, but yeah, we certainly, that's good family time for us. We've obviously been taking the kids since they were really little, and so it's just, you know, comfortable, I suppose. Good family time. We can shut it down and kind of be immersed in the bubble, and it's just the four of us.
Have you been to the international Disney one?
No, 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 no. Haven't left the country to do it.
Is
Nope.
that something you want to do at some point or no? No interest?
Well, if you ask my 9-year-old, she really wants to go to Paris. So, Marin's like, I want to go to Disneyland Paris. And Vivian informed me about a month ago she would like to go to Disney Tokyo Sea. So I'm like, I don't know. I wanted to go to Kings Island when I was there. Like, Mom and Dad, can we drive to Cincinnati and go to Kings Island? So I don't know. This generation is just different. Um, but yeah, they're pretty bougie and pretty cute and pretty funny and all the things.
And they
So
got the Disney bug.
they do. They do. Yeah, they love it.
There. All right, Disney World. I mean, look, I live in Disney World land, so at Disney World here in Orlando. So I'm not going to complain about it. I was curious in the analysis there, as people that follow you if know that you make occasional visits there. You never tell me when you come there. It's always like, oh, there she is. That's when I find out. But
We're so, yeah, in and out of the place. But no, yeah, we love it. It's good family time.
I'll let you go on this. What are you looking forward about finding out about this group once you get going? You got a tough schedule right off the bat. Scheduling wise, you got some team from Oklahoma coming in, etc. But you got a good non-conference schedule. Get set for a Big 12 that I think is going to be super stacked this year because just like your roster, there's a lot of talent coming back in the Big 12 this year. So what are you looking forward to finding out about your group that you're going to find out that could determine how 2026 is defined?
I'm just excited to watch this group compete. I'm really excited to see who's going to just level up so we can settle into a lineup. Like, I know the blessing and the curse of having so much depth early on is, you know, you would think after having him for, 6 months at this point, like watching him compete, you have an idea, and you certainly have an idea, but you also are just going to have kids that show up and show out on game day, and some kids that maybe just can't control the thought process or the anxiety, or it it's not a see ball hit the ball situation at this level. Like, you've got to understand space and time and how to hunt pitches and what your own strength is and what you're going to get to hit against any like, it's just such a bigger chess match at this level. So I think that's the piece I'm most excited about, is to just see who competes really, really well at a high level. Um, but yeah, it's a tough schedule. We've got some great teams rolling in here. So, we're going to throw punches. We're also going to get punched. And do we get up and fight back? Or, I don't think this is the group that's going to feel sorry for themselves. I think every day they roll out there, they give us their best. They're positive, they're tough, they push each other. So I'm not really worried about those pieces. I think really the sky can be this limit for this group. We catch fire at the right time at the end of season, this group can get into Oklahoma City, and they know it. So we're just trying to temper, compete well, balance expectations, and stay process oriented.
That's Arizona State head coach Megan Bartlett joining us here on In the Circle of D1 Softball, powered by 643, and of course, two-time All-American at Notre Dame, D1 Softball quarter century, top 25 greatest mid-major hitters of all time. Great. We got to get the word out. You're a great player. I'm going to get the word out. I'm going to pump it up. We're not going to let people forget that part. But you're also a great coach as well. So, you're a great person, and I always enjoy talking to you. I look forward to crossing paths with you during the year, but thanks for taking the time to talk to us here on In the Circle.
My pleasure, Elo. Thank you.